And good morning. My name is Shaun Collins. I'm your worship lead today. You'll be hearing from me. You'll be hearing from Jeremy Raven, our own choir dude, and Alan Herrmann, who Karen and I went to UU Sunnyvale for many years, and we sang in the choir with Alan, and we also go over and sing with Alan in Sunnyvale, and he comes over and sings with us. So it's a treat to have Alan here with us. How softly summer shuts without the creaking of a door. Emily Dickinson. And my quote that I'm going to repeat again because I think it's so cool. I play the notes as they are written, but it is God who makes the music. J.S. Bach. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalists of San Mateo. My name is Shaun Collins, and it's my pleasure, as always, to be back serving as your worship lead this morning.
Oh, well, I learned as a child, there's just things to see, the world as it is, and the way it could be. Well, some people say that's just not my problem. Some people do what must be done. Well, they see the hole in the fabric that must be sewn. They see the way blockaded, and they roll back the stone. They see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. Yes, some people do what must be done. Yes, they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. Now I've seen the toll taken, the tears that were shed, I've seen the journey started, and the ripples spread. Some people say that's just not my problem. Some people do what must be done. Well, they see the hole in the fabric that must be sewn. They see the way blockaded, and they roll back the stone. They see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. Yes, some people do what must be done. Yes, they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. Yes, some people do what must be done. Yes, they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done.
Yes, sir. What I Have Learned Over the Summer by Shaun Collins. So to paraphrase Oscar Wilde, there's only one thing worse than being retired, and that is not being retired and working 9 to 5 every day as a project manager, which I did for almost 30 years. I retired last year from almost 12 years at PG&E, and it was a bumpy ride. When I left, I was having to deal with issues of managing many projects with multi-million-dollar budgets. Issues ranged from abrupt funding changes, personnel changes, coming and going, scope creep, and timeline demands. Shaun, Manager Bob says he no longer can fund Project X. What should we do? Shaun, Susan's no longer working for the company and was your engineer in the project. What are you going to do? Shaun, Manager Dana said the project has to be completed by such and such. unrealistic date. What are you going to do? Whew, so I left all that. For what, right? So it wasn't the first time I had retired. I had worked at HP for 24 years before that. However, this retirement was different. There's even a name for what happened to me. It's called Sudden Retirement Syndrome, SRS. It's not a formal medical diagnosis. It describes the psychological disorientation that can occur after leaving a career as stressful as that one. So let's talk about what I've learned. First, let's talk about pride. I was warned that retirement could be stressful, but I thought I had this all covered, right? And so after all, I had retired from Hewlett-Packard not more than 12 years before, and that went fine. Well, except I had to find a job because we couldn't afford to have me not working. But besides for that, it was feeling pretty good. However, I clearly was not ready for retirement this time around. Even though I had plans to work on various hobbies, focus on music, home projects, here, UUSM, something was still like off. So what about pride? Well, according to the Catholics, which I grew up, it's a venial sin, meaning it's a major vice that leads to other immoral actions and further sinful behavior. And in Proverbs 16:18, we learn that pride cometh before the fall. Pride goes before destruction, or to quote the Common Language version, pride comes before the disaster, and arrogance before the fall. Yikes. So my pride was thinking I had all this planned out. It turned out it wasn't that simple. My pride was also leading me to believe that since I was working out, eating well, there'd be no health issues either. Right, I was wrong. There I was at the doctor's office with knee pains, back pain, feeling like, what is going on? After some tests and reviews, it turns out they didn't find anything major and suggested various drugs that would mask the symptoms and not really heal anything. So I said, thank you, but I think I'll look elsewhere. So I ended up going outside that system, and I started seeing a therapist. I saw a chiropractor for my back, which was magic, and knee issues. And of course, I'm doing my own research, both online with friends and family, as to what's working for them and what's not working. So what I've learned is to trust. Much of the angst we create is either worrying about the past or creating a future that doesn't really exist. To quote Michel de Montaigne, my life has been full of terrible misfortunes. Most of them never happened. Fortunately, in reality, my life has not been full of such misfortunes. This is why trust is so important. It's important to trust you are doing the right thing. It's okay to fail. In fact, we shouldn't be afraid to fail. We should fail often. We should fail better next time. We don't learn and grow without it. It's important to trust that you made the right decisions. It's important to trust that you will do so in the future. Trust your body and the signals it's sending you. Listen carefully and take care of your body with some kind of daily movement. Practice being calm. This is me talking to me. Visualize the person you want to be and act on your visualizations. I've learned to be compassionate with myself. If I want to be a better myself, I need to practice that every day. This means that if I'm constantly criticizing myself and others, or reading news, as they call doom scrolling, right? This is a bad thing. Or if I'm constantly questioning my decisions, I'm practicing the wrong skills. I need to work on letting go of these habits and focus on what I believe will move the needle forward for myself, my family, and my community at large. This means practicing gratitude, compassion, and loving kindness. We need to create that kind of positive inner energy that then can be sent out into the world. Key to our journey is to find joy in our lives and, frankly, practice joy. Along those lines, I've been connecting more with my friends and family, traveling, performing music, going to the gym, working on house updates, volunteering at Second Harvest Food Bank and Samaritan House as a financial coach, and I'm also restoring old pinball machines and pachinko machines. You know, we choose the path we take each day. We choose the direction we take. And as Reverend Dr. Rebecca Ann Parker tells us, we can choose to bless the world. So watch out for that pride. Trust what you are doing is the right thing. Be compassionate with yourself and others and practice it every day. Find joy and seek the right path. Blessed be and amen. We went to Disneyland.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star as dreamers do, fate is kind. She brings to those who love the sweet fulfillment of their secret longing. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
Good morning. My name's Alan Herrmann. As Shaun mentioned, I'm a regular at the Sunnyvale Church, but Shaun and Karen and I go back more than 24 years, probably more like 35 or some 30-ish. We also have another one of our frequent co-conspirators on Zoom. Josh is on Zoom. Josh Throw-White, yeah. So he sometimes sings with us as well when he's available and in the right time zone. I'm grateful to Shaun and Karen for inviting me here this morning. I've been here a few times before over the years. Last time I was actually, the service was in what's now your social hall, so things were quite different. I've always enjoyed this community and the warm welcome here, and this beautiful sanctuary is a very special place to meet and share our spiritual time together. So it has a real spirit about it here that I love. So today's September 14th. We still have about a week of summer left if you go by the fall equinox, which is next Tuesday, I think, or a week from Tuesday. If you're a student, the summer already ended about a month ago, depending on whether you're on quarters or semesters. If you're a farmer, this is midsummer. If you're an office worker, sorry, no summer for you. Save your vacation time for December. So what does summer mean to you? It can mean vacation time. It can mean heat. It can mean gardening. It can mean travel, visiting, or being visited by family and friends. It can mean summer school or summer camp or a summer job, summer internship, a summer romance. It can mean early sunrises and late sunsets. It can mean summer music festivals, summer art fairs, state fairs and county fairs, roadside fruit and vegetable stands, backyard parties and barbecues, campouts, neighborhood block parties, church picnics. I hope you got to enjoy some of those summer activities this year, as I did some of them. Summer is a time to break the routine and do something different. It's a time to back off on the striving and accomplishing and achieving and instead to pause and relax, share, and enjoy. By the way, why is it that some people don't like to go camping? Because it's intense. When I grew up in Georgia, summers were hot, and they still are. Back in those olden days, we didn't have an air conditioner, so we opened the windows and used electric fans. I grew up with the heat and humidity, so it felt normal to me. When I feel humidity now, it's a nostalgic feeling for the first few hours or so until I wish for the cool, dry California air. My favorite things to do in summer as a kid were swimming at the neighborhood pool and riding my bike. I had a lot of freedom, and my neighborhood was full of kids, so there were always other kids around to play with. Some friends, some strangers, some known but not friends, for example, girls. Girls were to be avoided. Around middle school age, I got to go to summer camp in the North Carolina mountains. There were about 100 boys my age there, and I had a blast. Swimming, canoeing, camping, riding horses, shooting rifles, away from my home and family for a month, getting dirty and doing outdoor stuff every day. I loved it. Some of the boys were mean to other boys, of course, but I was able to steer clear of that for the most part and have a great time. I learned valuable life lessons like how to use a compass, how to short sheet a bed, and how to avoid getting into discussions about religion. By the way, where did the sailboat go when it got sick? To the dock. In Georgia, the hottest, muggiest summer days were called dog days. Apparently that phrase dates back to Roman times when the summer season was associated with the constellation of Canis Major, the big dog, and its brightest star, the dog star, Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky. The big dog appeared each year with the arrival of the summer heat and was actually believed by the Romans to cause the summer heat. When I was in college, summer was the time to get a summer job and try to earn some spending money. One summer, I had a job filing tax forms in an enormous government warehouse, where I learned the importance of getting a college degree in order to avoid the fate of the lifers I met who had worked there for years doing the same simple tasks over and over. One summer, I worked at a pizza restaurant where I learned all about the various functions in a restaurant, the manager, cooks, waiters, busboy, dishwasher, and how it sucks to be the dishwasher on closing duty, having to wash all the big crusty pots from the kitchen and getting home in the wee hours of the morning smelling of pizza. It was hard work, but very different from school, so it was still a break from routine. No homework, no tests, and a paycheck. By the way, how does summer turn to fall? Automatically. Joining the workforce, I learned that tech employees don't actually get a summer vacation. We got 2 weeks of PTO, which gradually increased to 3 or 4 weeks after many years of employment. At least my tech job paid a lot better than the pizza restaurant, and it didn't make me smell like pizza. When my own kids reached school age, it became clear that summer was the precious time to travel as a family during the summer vacation. I saved up my PTO so that we could get away together for vacation trips to Hawaii, Canada, Mexico. Those were wonderful trips, and I have beautiful memories from them. As a retiree, I now try to time my vacation trips to miss the summer rush, but summer is still a time to relax and take a break from things. It's the only time of year when it's warm enough to swim in the ocean at Santa Cruz without a wetsuit. It's a great time to catch up on reading for pleasure, something I mostly forget to do the rest of the year. By the way, why do we always celebrate Pride during the summer? Shaun already gave it away. Pride goeth before the fall. A lot of historic events happened in the summertime, including major military conflicts like the Battle of Gettysburg and the D-Day invasion of Normandy. I remember summer trips to visit my grandparents in Vermont, including one visit in 1977 when I was 15, which coincided with the bicentennial celebration of Bennington Battle Day, a very big deal in the small town of Bennington. The Battle of Bennington was an event in August of 1777 in which a small army of American militiamen surprised and defeated a British force sent to raid Bennington for supplies. I still have a T-shirt. It's too small for me. I still have a T-shirt with the drawing of American General John Stark and the words, "Send every man from the farm that will come and let the haying go to hell." I love that T-shirt. So don't mess with Vermont. By the way, when does red mean go and green mean stop? When you're eating a slice of watermelon. In conclusion, summer is a time to change things up, loosen the straps, try something different, be goofy, and find your inner summer child that you remember from summers past. May it be so.
He's right. He's got one. I love this job. I really do. I mean, there's so much to love, especially when the essential central premise of this job is weaving together aspects of music, of worship, and community. I mean, what a sweet gig, truly. Of the many things I'm thankful for in my role here, one of them is the account of developmental funds that are afforded to me, which enable me to enrich myself in my role here. So, I'd like to take some time now to formally share with you some details about the long summer trip that I took a few months ago, which was only possible because of these funds. It encompassed 2 music conferences over the course of 2 weeks. It was a lot of fun, but it was by no means a vacation. It was my awesome, exhausting MUUsical summer. This trip started with a nonstop flight to Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in Atlanta, Georgia, the busiest airport in the world. It was here in Atlanta that the 2025 AUUMM conference took place, and I had been looking forward to this since the location was announced at last year's conference in Albuquerque. Prior to this trip, the entirety of my experiences with the American South encompassed a day trip to Houston to go to a soccer game with my dad, and a weekend in Orlando for a barbershop contest in which I never left the convention center. So needless to say, I was eagerly awaiting this trip as my first opportunity to really get to know and interact with the South. That is, until I got off the plane and realized that Atlanta in late July means over 90 degrees every day with 90% humidity. Alan, those dog days of summer in Georgia were hot back then, and I can tell you that that is still true. 10 minutes in, and I had already learned my first lesson. I learned to appreciate my home in the Bay Area even more. This was my second year at the AUUMM conference, which was cool in its own way because this time around, I had the chance to see a bunch of the friends I made last year. I found Susan and Anthony, a couple of Bay Area UU musicians who I met in Albuquerque. I also had the pleasure of meeting Javon and Mark and a few new others who are also based in the Bay. We acknowledged that it's funny that despite being so close geographically, we only ever see each other at these out-of-state events. We wondered if it might be possible to do something like our own local mini AUUMM gathering for all of our musical congregants. More on that idea as it develops. But definitely what I was looking forward to the most at this AUUMM was an update about the new virtual hymnal called Sing Out Love. What is Sing Out Love? Well, for one, Sing Out Love, unlike Singing the Journey and Singing the Living Tradition before it, is not a physical book. You should think of it more like a subscription service, like Spotify or, MLB.tv. Go Brewers. What does this mean for you? Not much. Because I know from firsthand experience, I see you all from the podium, that not many of you are reading your music out of these hymnals anyway. Although it must be said, they are living right now beneath your chairs, always there. They want to be used. You can go ahead whenever you want. I promise it won't hurt you. You might just learn something. Does the addition of Sing Out Love mean that we'll get a bunch of new music in our services? Yes. For example, today during the offertory, I'll be teaching you all a new song called Hold Fast to Love, which comes from the new hymnal. By the very nature of the hymnal's construction, music chosen from it will be more recently composed and often more closely aligned with things like the Soul Matters themes. But does the addition of Sing Out Love mean that we'll be replacing Singing the Journey and Singing the Living Tradition outright? Absolutely not. Let me assuage your concerns. I love so much of the music that is in those volumes. It is music that resonates just as much today as it did when they were published. And it must be said, just as there is value in pushing our horizons by singing new music, there is also value, both musical and spiritual, in embracing familiar music as well. As long as I'm music directing here, you have my assurance that we will always pursue a balance between old and new, Just look at today's hymn selection. The proof is in the pudding. All said, the AUUMM conference is always a delight. There is no better place to engage with UU music, full stop. I've been each of the past 2 years, and I'm sure I'll go again, especially because next year's will be in Milwaukee, which is in many ways my home away from home. And to be clear, it's not just for music professionals like myself. There are loads of regular music-forward congregants who attend, and why shouldn't they? Who among us wouldn't enjoy a week chock full of UU music making? If you are ever interested yourself in potentially attending in the future, let's talk. I'm sure I'll have a lot to say. Speaking of a lot to say, I'm only half done. Because flying out of Atlanta, I did not come straight home. Instead, I took a week-long pit stop in Denver for an event called Harmony University. Harmony University, or HU, is put on every year by the Barbershop Harmony Society. I had wanted to go for a while for my own personal enrichment, but never could justify the cost. But despite being put on by BHS, it is so much more than an exclusively barbershop affair. And in fact, it offered something that AUUMM conference does not, something that I desperately wanted after 2 years of directing our UUSM choir, advanced conducting lessons. Under the tutelage of Kirk Young, I took lessons in conducting technique in an hour-long session every day called Hand Independence. And rather than explain that premise to you, I think I'll just show you firsthand. Choir members know what is coming. All right. You don't have to stand, but you might want to. Just get to a place where you can see me. And we'll start. Let me be your mirror. We'll start by just moving our hands. Easy enough. That's something we can do. If we were going to add our left hand to the mix, maybe something like this. This is very easy. It should be. Because we are observing and adhering to a concept known as bilateral symmetry, where if you cut a mirror right here, this is the reflection of this, right? It is the way that our brains are wired, so it's pretty easy for us to be able to do something like this. Whereas if we did something like this, actually a tiny bit more difficult, but that's still okay. And now here's where it gets fun. Just follow me. Keep the other one moving. Keep the other one moving. Shake. Ah. Now let's move it up and down. Now keep this hand moving in a circle. Let's have the other one make figure eights. I see a lot of you thinking really hard. Keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. Shake it out. Up and down. Figure eight. Help me. You can do it, you can do it. But yeah, isn't that cool? And as a conductor, it's important to be working these exercises because if you can only ever do the mirror of your left hand and your right hand, then you're only essentially conducting with one hand. But in order to do things like gestures, raises, entrances, you need to be able to completely divorce your hands. So the very last exercise, this one's coming really quick. Let's build a square. 1, 2, in and up, out, down, in and up. Easy enough. In this hand, let's do a triangle. Out, in, and up, out, in, and up, out, in, and up. All right? Square, triangle. We're going to do 3 squares and 4 triangles and wind up back where we started. Ready? Go. How many people made it? Here we are. Very good. Let's try it one more time, one more time, one more time. Give it another shot. I got it. Here's the triangle. Here's the square. And go. Up. Up. Very good. Those are called hand independence exercises. They get your brain working in a very different way that maybe a lot of us aren't accustomed to all the time. At HU, I had the chance to develop some other skills, including my music arranging, an example of which you'll see in a couple of weeks, and my singing, of which you get too much of already. I am well over time, so I'll wrap things up by bringing things back to where they started. I'm only able to take trips like this because MUUSM enables me to do so. This is something for which I am incredibly grateful and never take for granted. I am especially excited for the years to come, for all of the places that MUUSM will take me, and all of the things I'll take back home to share with you. And I know this went over, but believe it or not, I cut a ton from this homily. There's still so much I want to share, so please come find me after today's service or another service down the road, and we can talk about my MUUsical summer all the more.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Sheila, for doing all the work that she does with the slides. Thank you to Nicholas and the team back here, and Cheyenne, right? And thank you to the ushers and the people that do all this stuff behind the scenes. Thank you. It's been an honor to be your worship lead today. You know, we love from the heart, and we listen with compassion. We learn with intent, and we laugh from our soul. We live to make a better place for ourselves and the world. And as Howard Thurman says, to bring peace among others, to make music in the heart. Make music, friends. Go in peace. Amen.